Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of complex variables and transforms. This is our lecture number 7. So our today's topic from the complex variable is basically the Cauchy's equation. Now Cauchy's equations have different theorems. Its first theorem says that the necessary conditions for a function f of z is to be analytical if f of z is equals to u of xy plus iota v of xy is analytical at z equals to 0 or at z naught, then u and v satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equations. And what are these equations? Delta u over delta x is equals to delta v over delta y, which means first derivative of u with respect to x would be equals to first derivative of v with respect to y, which means u of x is equals to u of y. U of x is equals to v of y. Second condition, delta v over delta x is equals to minus delta u over delta y, which says that first derivative of v with respect to x must be equals to minus first derivative of u with respect to y, which is v of x is equals to minus u of y. At every point in same neighborhood of point z naught, provided that u of x, u of y, v of x and v of y exist. So Cauchy's equations in the complex variables is basically related with the complex functions. Here a complex function has been given, which is f of z. So that complex function has the real part u and the imaginary part v, and the function have the variables which are interpreted both in the xy intercepts. So we have u and we have v. These both are variables. So if a function is to be analytical, then this function must satisfy the Cauchy's equation, which says that u of x must be equals to v of y and v of x must be equals to minus u of y, and there is a condition that these four variables u of x, u of y, v of x and v of y must also exist. So this is the theorem number 1 of the Cauchy's equation. Now theorem 2, the sufficient conditions for a complex function f of z to be analytical. Now there are some conditions for the Cauchy's equation or the Cauchy's theorem to be applicable. Number 1, the complex variable f of z, that is equals to u of x of y plus iota v of x y, is defined at every point in the same neighborhood of the point z naught. Condition number 2, u and v satisfy the Cauchy's equation. So the variables must satisfy that u of x is equals to v of y and v of x is equals to minus u of y. Again I will remind you that here u of x is the first derivative of u with respect to x. V of y is basically first derivative of v with respect to y. Here v of x is first derivative of v with respect to x, and u of y is the first derivative of u with respect to y. And the condition 3 says that the variables u, v, their derivative with respect to x and y, u of x, u of y, v of x, v of y, are continuous at every point in the same neighborhood of z naught, because we have defined that condition also in 1. Then the function, which is a complex function f of z, is analytical at z naught, and f dash of z, the first derivative of the complex function, would be equals to u of x plus iota v of x. Now we'll see an example and we'll predict our answer that whether the given function is analytic or not. Now the given statement for a complex function f of z, that is equals to e to raise power x cos y plus iota e raised power x sin y. Here it is a complex function in the form of exponential and trigonometric function. This is basically the real part u, and this is basically the imaginary part v. Now the solution of the given example. Here f of z, as we have said earlier, that is basically in the form of real and the imaginary part u plus iota v. Here u is equals to e की power x cos y and v is equals to e raised to power x sin y. Now we'll take ux. Here ux basically the first derivative of u with respect to x, which is curly u over curly x. Now it will become, as it is the derivative with respect to x, so cos y would be constant and the derivative of e raised to power x is basically e raised to power x. Now u of x has the answer e raised to power x cos y. Now we'll take u of y, which is basically the first derivative of u with respect to y. So when we take the derivative with respect to y, e raised to power x will behave as constant, and we'll take the derivative of cos y, which is basically minus sin y. Now we'll take v of x, which is basically the first derivative of v with respect to x. So it will become sin y, as it is, because it's constant, we are taking derivative with respect to x. So e raised to power x has the derivative e raised to power x. Similarly, vy is equals to first derivative of u v with respect to y. Here this is basically the mistake in the slide. Vy is basically first derivative of v with respect to y. Also I'll make it clear. Sorry. Now you can see that I have made it clear. Vy is basically first derivative of v with respect to y. Now what we will do here, e raised to power as it is, because we are taking the derivative with respect to y. So sin y has a derivative cos y. Here are the answers we will compare. Here u of x is equals to v of y, as the answers are same. That was also given in the theorem. Here v of x has this value and u of y has same value with the negative sign. So v of x equals to minus u of y. These are basically the two conditions of the Cauchy's equation, and these two conditions are satisfied in the given question. Here our u of x is equals to v of y and v of x is equals to minus u of y. So as the given conditions are satisfied, we can say that our given function, our given complex function, is a analytic function. So that is how you can prove the Cauchy's equations and determine whether a given complex function is analytic or not. Now the second example. Again it is also related with the Cauchy's equation. Now in this equation we have given the variable u, not the function. Keep that in mind. Now we have given a variable u, which is basically the real variable or the real part of the complex function. Ux of y is equals to x square minus y square minus y minus 2, which is the real part of an analytic function. Here he has said that this is the real part and the function is also analytic, which is f of z equals to u plus iota v, which is basically the basic form of a complex function. Then we have to find out the function from this real part. Okay, so again I will repeat the statement. Here he has given us the real part of a complex function. He has also told that the function is analytic, so the Cauchy's equations are applicable. The basic form of complex function would be in the form of u plus iota v. We have to find out the function as well. Now, Cauchy's equations. First of all, from u we will take the first derivative of u with respect to x to find u of x. Here u of x would be 2x because all these will be treated as constant. Similarly, we will find uy. Uy would be equals to minus 2y minus 1, which is equals to minus vx. Here the Cauchy's equation says that v of x is equals to minus u of y, so we'll take the minus sign here, so the given equation would be changed. V of x would be equals to 2y plus 1. Now we have both the real part and the imaginary part. Now from the theorem of the Cauchy's equation as given, f dash of z is equals to u of x plus iota v of x. It can also be in terms of y. That is important. You can take the first condition or u of x, or you can take the second condition of v of x. You can take any derivative with respect to x or with respect to y to proceed the solution of this question. Now u of x is equals to 2x and iota v of x. Here iota as it is, where the vx value is equals to 2y plus 1, which is 2y plus 1. So our given question would be changed into 2x plus iota into 2y plus 1. Now we will replace x with the z, as it is a complex function and it is a real part, and here the imaginary part would be 0. So 2y would be 0 in the given question. So it would be changed into 2z plus iota. Why we have changed y with the 0? Because in this question we are basically differentiating it with respect to x. If we will differentiate it with respect to y, or here we have v of y, then the answer that would come here, in that answer we will replace x with 0 and y with z. But here in this question, as we are differentiating with x, so we'll replace x with z and y with 0. So the statement given would be changed into 2z plus iota. Now f dash of z as given in the question, the first derivative of z, that is equals to 2z dz plus iota. Now we will take the integration of that first derivative of the complex function. The derivative and the integral cancel out with each other, leaving f of z. Here it is missing, it is basically f dash of z. So when we will take the integration of both the sides, this will becomes the function f of z. Here the integration says that 2 into z square over 2 plus iota z plus c. So it will become z square iota z plus c. Here c is basically the constant. So from this we have find out our function. Now in the polar form, again we can apply the Cauchy's equation. In the polar form, the Cauchy's equation takes the form delta u over delta r, because the variables in polar form are r and theta in place of x and y. So delta u over delta r, or we can say that u of r is equals to 1 over r v theta, or 1 over r delta v over delta theta. Here you can see that u of r is equals to 1 over r v theta. Similarly, delta u over delta theta is equals to delta v over delta r, which is equals to minus 1 over r delta theta, or u theta equals to v r. Here u r is the first derivative of u with respect to r, v theta first derivative of v with respect to theta, u theta first derivative of u with respect to theta, and V are first derivative of V with respect to R. So these are the condition in that case u of r is equals to 1 over r v theta and minus 1 over r equals to u theta equals to vr, and the equation f dash of z would be equals to u of r plus iota vr e raised to power minus iota theta. Now the harmonic functions. From ux of y, del square u over del x square plus del square u over del y square equals to 0. This is basically the Laplace equation in two dimensions, which is a very common equation that is used in the complex analysis. Laplace equation can be one dimensional, can be two dimensional, can be three dimensional. But how can you identify that the given equation is Laplace equation? If you have a variable that is differentiated with the second power, like here del square u over del x square, the second derivative of a variable, if that is equals to 0, the given equation is the Laplace equation. Here if we have only del square u over del x square equals to 0, this is Laplace equation of one dimension. Given is the Laplace equation is two dimension. Here we have basically x and y. This is the equation of plane or the two dimension. Del square u over del x square plus del square u over del y square. Similarly, we can have Laplace equation of three dimension or space. Here we have the variable that would be differentiated with respect to three space coordinates. Del square u over del x square plus del square u over del y square plus del u square over del z square. So this is basically the understanding of the Laplace equation. Now for the harmonic function we have a Laplace equation. In second point, a function uxy is called a harmonic function if ux, uy, uxx, uyy. Here ux, uy first derivatives and uxx and uyy are indicating the second derivatives. So a function is called a harmonic if ux, uy, uxx, uyy are the continuous function and satisfy the Laplace equation. Now important things are, if f of z is equals to u plus iota v is an analytic function, then u and v are harmonic functions as well. This is important. If the given function is proved from the Cauchy's equation is analytic, then its variable u and v are also the harmonic functions. And if u and v are the harmonic functions, then it may or may not be analytical function. That is important. If a given function is analytic, then it is universal truth that u and v would be harmonic functions. But if given is that if u and v are harmonic, then the function may or may not be analytic. That is important. Now the harmonic function conjugate. If u and v are the harmonic functions and u plus iota v is analytic, then v is called the harmonic conjugate function of u. How can we justify this equation to find out the harmonic conjugate? Now if v is equals to vx of y is given and we have to find out the harmonic conjugate u, if the given function is in the form of v and we have to find its harmonic conjugate, then its harmonic conjugate would be equals to du, that is equals to du over dx, delta u over delta x dx plus delta u over delta y dy. So we can see that du is equals to ux dx plus uy dy. Here ux equals to vy and ux equals to minus vx. So du would be equals to vy dx minus vx dy. So we can say that here harmonic conjugate u is equals to vy dx Here in this we are treating y as constant, plus and minus from this, minus vx equals to dy, only the considered term free from x. Now you will have more understanding from this example. Here in this example, a given function is in the form of u, as in the definition it was given in v. Now we have the given function in the form of u, which is x cube minus 3xy square plus 7, and we have to find out its harmonic conjugate, which is basically v. The given function has been given and we have to find out its conjugate. If it is u, we have to find out v. If it is v, we have to find out u. Now we have to find out v, so dv is equals to vx dx plus vy dy from the given definition. Here vx is equals to minus u of y dx plus vy is equals to ux dy from the Cauchy's equation. Now first of all we will find out u of x. Here from the equation u of x equals to 3x square minus 3y square, and u of y is equals to minus 6xy. Now we will put these values in this equation. Minus minus here would be cancelled out, so the given would be 6xy into dx plus 3x square minus 3y square dy. So v is equals to 6xy dx minus 3y square dy. This term would be cancelled out or would be treated as 0, as we are basically dealing with dv. As in the question, here we treat y as constant, but in that we will treat x as constant, and similarly in that we have to consider this term free of x, so x in this term would be treated as 0. So 6xy dx as it is, and this equation would be also as it is, only the x term would be 0 by the definition of the harmonic function. So v would be equals to 6xy dx, that is basically dv. dv is equals to 6xy dx minus 3y square dy. Now we will take the integration to find out v. Now v would be equals to, as we take the integration, so it will become 6y as it is. Here the integration of x would be x square over 2. Similarly plus minus 3 as it is. Integration of y square is y cube over 3 and constant. So the given equation will takes the form 3x square y minus y cube plus k. Here k is the constant, or you can also write it here as c1 or c2. So that is how you can find out the complex conjugate of a function. So that was all from the lecture number 7, which was about the complex variables and the Cauchy's equation. So in this lecture we have basically studied the conditions that was related with the theorem number 1 of the Cauchy's equation, that were u of x equals to v of y and v of x equals to minus u of y. Then we have solved the questions to find out if the given function is analytic or not. Then from the variable we have find out the function. Then we have interpreted the polar form of the Cauchy's equation and its variables. Then we have find out the harmonic function and its conjugate. So that was all from lecture number 7. Thank you so much.